Deep beneath layers of damp garden soil and thick green moss lies a forgotten piece of history in miniature. This isn't just any toy. It is a scale model of the M1917 Light Tank, America's first mass-produced tank. Finding a toy in this condition is like finding a time capsule. The rust hasn't just covered the surface, it has started to claim the soul of the machine. The M1917 itself has a fascinating origin. While it looks American, its DNA is French. Based on the legendary Renault FT, this design was the first in history to feature what we now consider the standard tank layout, a rotating turret, engine in the back, and driver in the front. As we begin to scrape away the mud, we aren't just cleaning plastic and metal. We are honoring a design that changed warfare forever. As we disassemble the hull, notice how intricate these small rivets are. In 1917, the United States was in a desperate race. Although the U.S. ordered 4,440 of these tanks, the war ended before a single one could reach the battlefields of Europe. Restoring this toy requires more patience than the soldiers had back then, as we carefully treat the brittle material to prevent it from snapping under the pressure of the restoration. Cleaning the internal gears reminds us of the technical nightmare of the original. The real M1917 was powered by a 4-cylinder, 42-horsepower engine. It was so slow, capping out at just 5 miles per hour, that infantry soldiers could literally outrun it. Now look at the turret. The M1917 had 2 versions, one with a 37mm gun and one with a .30 caliber machine gun. Our model features the cannon. During the restoration of the paneling, we have to be careful. The original tanks used armor plating that was only 6 to 15 millimeters thick. It could stop a rifle bullet, but it was a steel coffin against heavy artillery. As the gray primer settles, the scars of the rust, which we've carefully filled with putty, disappear. The tank begins to regain its dignity. Choosing the right shade of olive drab is crucial. Applying the primer today feels like the manufacturing process in 1918. Back then, the cost of one M1917 was about $5,000, a fortune at the time. The M1917 stayed in service with the U.S. Army until the 1930s. It was the machine that trained the great American tank commanders of World War II, like George S. Patton. As the airbrush coats the turret, we see the 6-ton special come back to life. Did you know that some of these tanks were actually sent to Canada in 1940 to help train their troops after the fall of France? They were sold for just the price of scrap metal. To us, however, this toy is priceless. The weathering we add now isn't dirt anymore, it's history. We add tiny scratches and oil leaks to show that this machine has lived. From a mossy, forgotten wreck in the dirt to a gleaming piece of history on the workbench. The M1917 Light Tank was never a beast of the battlefield. The final step is the most satisfying, the mechanical part. We restored the tracks and the interior lighting. When we flip the switch and see those tiny headlights glow, we bridge the gap between 1917 and today. But it was the grandfather of every modern tank we see today. It reminds us that even the smallest things, when given enough care and time, can tell a story that lasts 100 years.